One Page Weekly with Nick Slavik. Retreat 2. Data plus feelings. If you take home $200,000 per year in the US, you are in the top 5% of income earners. Maybe 18% of all businesses generate more than $600,000 per year. 81% of all businesses in the US have no employees and generate on average $48,000 per year. The average W-2 employee makes $62,000 per year. At this past retreat, this last week, there were multiple companies that have existed for less than 4 years, generating $600,000 a year and taking home more than $200,000 per year. Absolutely astonishing. Why do I mention this? This is becoming a more and more common occurrence in our industry. People start a business, scale it quickly, put basic systems in place, produce profitable jobs, and have thorough job costing. 8 years ago, this was tough to find. Another anecdotal data point that our industry is getting younger, more diverse, and more entrepreneurial. What's more interesting? 3 things struck me at this year's summer retreat. These people were not satisfied. These people were very hard on themselves. These people were struck by the shiny object syndrome. Satisfaction. It's a very interesting thing. The entrepreneurs that make up the cohort I'm describing above don't seem to have the same limiting beliefs that my cohort did or does. They aren't stalled out by employee or sub issues. They don't struggle with job costing. They don't seem to toil with field management of technicians, at least not like others I've encountered. Seemingly within a few years, they thrust themselves from the 50 percentile of income in the US to the top 5% of income earners, but are also very critical of what their future holds. I like this on its face because it shows caution and conservatism with finances, but I see the angst in their eyes. They are too hard on themselves. I marvel at their ability to move through the early years of founding and scaling, but I have sympathy for them when I see the lack of recognition of what they've built and are able to accomplish. They don't take enough time to pause, take in what they built, and really appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. They're humble, grateful, and intensely thoughtful, but they are too hard on themselves. I found myself having to call this out more than a few of the asks this last week, just as people had done for me years ago. I was blowing past all the good and only focusing on the things that needed improvement. Noble cause, but this can become unproductive, especially when you start to lead and manage other human beings. I combined 2 of the 3 things I observed at the retreat in the last paragraph. I saved the big one for this paragraph, the shiny object syndrome, or SOS. As far as I can tell, SOS affects all entrepreneurs, some mildly and some severely. I've had many bouts with it in the past. Case in point, 2020, drywall, and carpentry. We can make the excuse that starting new things, or hopping on current trends, or chasing opportunities, and never carrying out our current one to fruition is innovative and expressing curiosity. But in reality, it's almost always a distraction and prevents traction. I saw many examples of this last week, as I always do. What makes these people great, the rugged individualism, risk-taking, and pioneer mindset, can stall you out after the founding phase, when consistency, management, and 1.1x progress are key. A wonderful thing to come out of the retreat is a potential solution to all 3 of the observations I listed above. Identifying your purpose and doing things to move you in the direction of that purpose. Think journey versus destination, constant progress versus a set goal. Knowing your direction will keep you focused. Many people have solved many business things over the years at the retreat. What's left? Their purpose. It was a hard realization for me when I realized that my own purpose was not to be a master craftsperson and paint business owner. It was to be a transitional character in my family's life and provide surplus value for all of my people. If these young entrepreneurs follow the path that they are on, they will find their own as well. I look forward to seeing them be kinder to themselves and find clarity in their own purpose. This has been One Page Weekly with Nick Slavik.